Welcome back. The Benue State Governor, Mr. Samuel Otom, has threatened to prosecute contractors who abandon work on some of the 740 primary school projects across the state. Towards this end, he has directed the State Universal Basic Education Board to furnish relevant agencies of government with information on the erring contractors. Governor Otom gave this directive while inspecting a number of projects across Makurdi, the state capital, including St. Teresa's Primary School. The governor also inspected the rehabilitation of 10 kilometers of the Makurdi-Boko Road, among other road works funded by the 3.5 billion naira facility for major township and urban road projects.
About APC or PDP or any other political party. It's not this about government. And these are public funds. There are rules guiding it. Those people, whether you're in PDP, you're in APC, whatever party you belong to, once you enter into contract agreement with government, you must do the needful. Otherwise, I have directed those who are abandoned, it should be handed over to EFCC or agencies or government that will recover the money that they have, whether police, EFCC or ICPC or whatever.
The palm tree is one among many from which a wide variety of produce can be obtained. One of such is basket making, which for a while is the main income earner for the people of Bika community of Taraba State. On our community report, we examine the craft and the dwindling interest of young people in Bika community.
There are over 2,500 species of palm trees, most of which grow in the tropical regions of the world. In Bika community of Taraba State, this plant grows and flourishes in their numbers. The people have perfected the art of using every part of the tree to meet various domestic and commercial needs. They extract oil from the palm fruit and buttercream from the kernel.
If you want your soup to be thick, you pour this inside the soup. After you have put the ingredients, all this is the last ingredient you will put.
Besides, there are a lot more byproducts from the palm tree, as explained by one of the indigents.
When they're processing the fruits to become palm oil, they get this one out of it. So this one is not useless to us. Our mother pack it and keep it during the rainy season that everywhere is wet. When they come back from farm, they use this one to catch their fire easily.
While agriculture is the mainstay here, broom making and basket weaving form a core part of income generation for them, a reason this craft is taught to the Bika people from childhood.
In the school, they teach them how to prepare broom, how to weave basket. That is the first home education you will gain before going to school. But these days, as you see, the thing is wiping away. Because like me, if you bring me materials now to weave basket, I will weave basket because I know it. I started finding my money with him.
The practice for now is, however, taking a back seat, as most of the young people no longer show interest in the trade.
I'm doing it for several years. It has taken more than 30 years. Because right from my childhood, we used to do it. And we do it getting our money to pay our school fees.
One of their regular customers is Samuel Garba, who uses the basket to store his produce.
I'm using them to store food items and other things surplus that I'm doing this because it's so very important to me and to people for use.
As far as the government is concerned, any intervention to save this craft is still in the pipeline.
Even the basket weaving that you are talking about, the government has a plan to intervene and empower the people who are in that business to be able to do much more. Not only just doing much more, but to profit from their labor.
Arts and crafts have continued to play a prominent role in shaping communities in the country. However, these unifying factors gradually being eroded in Bika creating a vacuum which, if not properly plugged, could in no time impair the people's sense of communal living.
In the meantime, the Taraba State Governor Darius Ishaku says his administration will not relent in harnessing the state's natural resources for growth, development, and the well-being of people. He was speaking when members of Ngada Special Development Area paid him a thank-you visit for creating and developing the Special Development Area back in 2016.
As I said the day I was creating the Ngada Development Area, that truly, frankly, the state has not been fair to your people. And this informed my creation of that Ngada Development Area. I am trying to, by the will of God, I know we're coming back, that I will now concentrate in the growth of cocoa farming. I want you to go aggressively and increase the hectareage of cocoa. When I come, let me see more cocoa farms. So that I can build a cocoa grading center in Ngada. That will be for export. That will mean your people will be empowered. I also want you to increase the hectareage of your palm growing, because we are going to also go into aggressive palm trees growth to palm oil.
The governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano, has flagged off the celebration of Christmas activities by switching on the decoration lights at Opeiweka in Onitsha. During the occasion, Mr. Obiano assured both the residents and visitors of adequate security throughout the Yuletide season.
This is the time of the year when Christmas decorations begin to spring up, both at homes and in public places. In Anambra State, the governor, Willie Obiano, in the company of his wife, lawmakers and residents, makes his way into Opeiweka. The Commissioner for Public Utilities explains why.
We're here to usher in the Christmas season, as usual, by switching on the Christmas lights.
The state governor sets off the Christmas celebrations by encouraging the Anambra people, friends and well-wishers to come home.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun, jingle bells all the way. We must have a very Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year that will bring individual gifts and a great honor to our state. God has blessed us so far. We are doing well. I must tell you, we are still the light of the nation.
At the governor's instruction, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mrs. Rita Maduagu, switches on the Christmas lights.
There you go.
And now, the Yuletide is formally underway in Anambra as the residents get into the mood of the celebration in anticipation of Christmas Day and its festivities.
As the countdown begins to the Christmas season and the annual Calabar carnival, the Cross River State Government has commenced an upgrade of its infrastructure facilities to give the city centre a facelift. Many of the major roads in the city are wearing new look, with decorations adorning its major roundabouts. The state's Governor Ben Ayade, who spoke on the preparations, disclosed that this year's street carnival has innovations on offer, including the first ever Formula K bike racing.
December every year is a month residents and visitors alike look forward to spend in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, with its lineup of exciting activities throughout the month into the new year. Road rehabilitation is going on in major parts of the state capital to ensure a smooth ride by commuters. Residents believe in maintaining the aesthetics of the state capital, even as the city receives an influx of visitors for the holidays.
I'm happy seeing the reaction, the repairs here and there, potholes being filled, and in fact the state is taking a new look.
This job is a great job, and it's what we've been expecting all this while. You know, the roads have been dilapidated for a while now.
On the state's preparedness for this year's street carnival, the state governor, Ben Ayade, announces the introduction of another innovation, Formula K bike racing.
Well, you know, we have just introduced a new excitement that scintillates the young people. It is against that background that Cross River State is edging up further by bringing you a new Formula K that will be the new excitement, a new wonder and a new glamour on wheels. So Cross River State, Nigeria, indeed Africa and the entire world should look forward to a new Glitterazi, a new combination of some ecstatic, exciting, hot activities that will characterize this year's carnival.
A trip round the city centre at night reveals most of the roundabouts decorated to reflect the celebrations in the air. The beehive of activity ensures business owners, especially those in the hospitality industry, smile to the bank daily.
Yeah, because the festivities have already commenced in Calabar as a prelude to the carnival. So I mean, if you didn't book for a hotel before now, it's almost impossible to get a hotel room in Calabar. This is despite the fact that a lot of new hotels spring up every day.
Calabar proclaims that it's ready to host the multitude of spectators and participants for a live experience of its annual street carnival, with activities lined up to spice up the holidays.
Now time to talk about the environment. Nearly 200 countries overcame political divisions late on Saturday to agree on rules for implementing a landmark global climate deal. But critics say it's not ambitious enough to prevent the dangerous effects of global warming. After 2 weeks of talks in the Polish city of Katowice, nations finally reached a consensus on a more detailed framework for the 2015 Paris Agreement, which aims to limit a rise in average world temperatures to well below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. Our correspondent, Ayola Kasim, reports.
Hearing no objections, it is so decided.
With a bang of the gavel, the president of the UN Climate Change Conference in Katowice ended 2 weeks of intense negotiations. A relief moment for all who have been in marathon talks for days. The schedule for the closing plenary was repeatedly pushed back for 2 days, but when it finally sat, it gave the Paris Agreement a lifeline.
We managed to secure detailed and robust guidance that provides us with a necessary tool at hand to implement both the collective and individual commitments of parties under the Paris Agreement. Many parts of the rules books are as robust, detailed and legally binding as we aspired. Others are less.
Exhausted ministers managed to bridge a series of divides to produce a 156-page rulebook, which is broken down into themes such as how countries will report and monitor their national pledges to curb greenhouse gas emissions and update their emissions plans. The Executive Secretary of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, who delivered a message on behalf of the UN Secretary General, thanked the government for their efforts, but asked member states to raise ambition in the fight against climate change, even as they leave Katowice.
It is our duty to reach for more, and I count on all of you to raise ambitions so that we can beat back climate change.
Many believe COP24 was a test on climate multilateralism, one that countries have barely passed, as a missed an opportunity to send a signal to businesses to speed up their actions.
Expected much more, particularly on finance. So clarity on public financing than mixing it up with other instruments. We also wanted to see loss and damage in those sections on finance, which are not there at all. So that's a major disappointment.
They will criticize us, and I do understand that. But the problem is this is a multilateral negotiations. And as I said at the beginning, each country or group of countries, they push their own interests. At the end of the day, you need to reach a deal that makes everybody unhappy. Because if you make everybody happy, this is a good thing. But it is far-fetched.
All eyes are now on Chile, which hosts the next conference where issues like the accounting rules for the monitoring of carbon credits, which stalled this year's talks, will be finalized. Before COP25 in Chile, there will be the United Nations Secretary General's Climate Summit in September 2019. There, governments are expected to commit to raise climate ambition by 2020. From the UN Climate Conference in Katowice, Poland, I'm Ayola Kasim reporting for Channels Television News.